I've got to be honest, I'm just not that bothered about the environment. The Green lobbies say it's got another 40 years left. That'll do me. I don't believe them anyway. I've never understood why people pay attention to the Green Party, Extinction Rebellion, Just Stop Oil and all the other green activists. Their ideas are straight out of a cannabis-infused sixth form common room, along with communism and wearing socks with sandals. They want to change the weather by stopping us from travelling, eating meat or having any fun whatsoever. They want to increase taxes and hand massive power to the government. And they're constantly warning us the world is about to end. But the deadline keeps passing. And guess what? The world is still miraculously here. And their tactics are insufferable. They block roads, they dig tunnels, they commit criminal damage and act as a nuisance to people trying to earn a living and go about their lives. These tactics wouldn't work in Scotland, by the way. I saw them on the news. They were gluing their hands like this to buses in Trafalgar Square. If you glued your hands like that to a bus in Glasgow, within about 30 seconds, somebody would come up behind you, nick your mobile phone and pump you in the bum. That bus wouldn't move for about 3 weeks. Everybody in Glasgow would have a go on your bum. Like your bum would have its own TripAdvisor page. When people got bored having sex with it, they'd use it for parking their bikes and keeping their tea towels tidy. And environmentalists think that they're above the law. This week, Just Stop Oil were filmed smashing up a petrol station. Listen, I'm old enough to remember when white hooligans smashing up an ethnic minority business would be considered a crime. But while the police are busy dancing the Macarena at a pride parade or arresting people for tweets, climate hooligans feel free to break the law with impunity. We have a two-tier policing system in this country where people with woke opinions are seemingly above the law, while the rest of us can't even fart in our own homes without having our doors kicked in by the offence police. Even worse, instead of locking these idiots up, our supposedly conservative government listens to them and says, "That's a good idea." So we stop drilling for oil and gas. The development of the massive Cambo oil field in the North Sea was shelved. Fracking, proven to be a safe and clean source of gas, was banned. Instead of drilling for fuel in Britain to provide energy security, our government, like all governments in Western Europe, decided that we should stop investing in our own oil and gas and move to powering our society with windmills and solar panels and good intentions. And while we waited for the capabilities of green energy to catch up with our dreams, we could depend on fuel from Russia. From an environmental point of view, this is idiotic. Russia is a dictatorship, so has terrible environmental regulations and oversight. And transporting oil that far increases the risk of devastating spills. People worry about food miles, the carbon footprint of food brought across the sea from other countries. But what about the carbon footprint of shipping oil from Russia instead of getting it out of our own backyard? If a tanker of avocados capsizes, you don't get environmentally devastating avocado slicks along the coastline and seals dying from avocados stuck in their fur. Why do greenies warn us about food miles but seem to be fine with oil miles? And with the Western world totally dependent on him for energy, Putin has us over a barrel of crude oil. Invading Ukraine sent gas prices sky high. And because we have no other option, Western Europe has been forced to pay these skyrocketing prices. Germany has paid Russia over 50 billion euros for gas during the course of the Ukraine war, which is paying for Putin's mercenaries to rape and pillage in Ukraine. It makes me wonder if Germany will ever be on the right side in a war. Somebody warned us of Western Europe's dependency on Russian energy, by the way. It was Donald Trump. And German politicians laughed at him. But here we are in 2022 with Putin invading Europe and using Europe's dependency on Russian gas to pay for it. Which makes me wonder, are British environmental activists funded by the Kremlin? The leader of the Scottish Green Party, Patrick Harvey, they're in a ruling coalition with the Scottish Nationalist Party, has said that anyone who wants to drill for oil in the North Sea is a far-right extremist. Green lobbyists are actively working to weaken the United Kingdom and helping Putin win the war in Ukraine. This winter, things will get harsh in the UK. People will die. Other people will want to die, but won't be able to afford enough gas to put their head in the oven. And all because green idiots hypnotised our complacent governments into pursuing this net zero nonsense. Anyone who supports net zero should do the decent thing this winter and refuse to use any of our scarce energy so that vulnerable people who need it can heat their homes. In fact, if Just Stop Oil are so worried about carbon footprints, they can reduce their own carbon footprint to zero by going to live in the sea.